Hey everyone, this is Alana with FidgetHaven Reviews, and today I'm going to be reviewing the Genex 1 by Jiang. The model I'm reviewing is made of bronze, and it comes with a titanium pivot, which is also sometimes referred to as a plug by other makers. The Genex 1 is a ring spinner, which has the shape of a tri-spinner. Each arm is shaped like an arrow, and they have a fairly simple pattern machined onto them, which I find adds a little bit to the aesthetics of the spin. There's another pattern available which has a double X shape at the edges instead. The bronze is a nice deep golden brown, and it has a matte finish. The ends of each arm are thicker than the surface around the bearing, which increases the outward mass in an effort to improve spin times. The raised parts, while helpful, unfortunately create a really awful hotspot on each side of the arm. I found that the hotspots cause more than just slight soreness and have actually cut me on one occasion. In the center sits a shielded, custom-sized stainless steel bearing. It's held into place by 3 tiny gunmetal gray stainless steel screws. I find that the spinner is quite hefty to me, and while it doesn't weigh as much as I expected it to weigh, I think that the shape causes it to feel weightier than it actually is. With the pivot inserted, it came up to 96.7 grams on my scale. Without the pivot, it came up to 80 grams on my scale. The titanium pivot is well made. It's a gunmetal gray color, and it has a matte finish as well. It contains a rubber O-ring in the center, which allows the bearing to grip and hold quite sturdily. There's a larger second O-ring on the bottom, which stabilizes and quiets the spin when table spinning. You can use the spinner with or without the pivot. It arrived with a second O-ring for both the center and the bottom, which I strongly appreciated. The Genex 1 can be spun like a traditional spinner when used with the pivot, or it can be spun on your finger. When used like a traditional spinner, I've successfully spun it both with the flicking method and with pulling down from the face. Flicking causes one of the hot spots to scratch my nail regularly, and it's cut the skin around my nail bed, so I do try to avoid spinning it like that. Pulling down from the face is much more comfortable, and it minimizes contact with the hot spots. To spin it on your finger, the pivot's removed, and it allows for enough room for a finger to be inserted into the middle of the bearing. I use it on my index finger, and I spin it with either my thumb or my middle finger. While I can definitely see the appeal of spinning it like this, I feel like this spinner, or perhaps just the bronze version, is too heavy for it to be much fun or very comfortable. The bearing is a custom size, and it's made of stainless steel. As I mentioned earlier, it comes shielded. I'm not usually a fan of shields, and I do feel somewhat torn about it here. It definitely makes sense to keep them shielded as they're exposed due to the nature of the spinner, yet at the same time, they annoy me because I can't adequately clean the bearing without fear of moisture getting trapped inside. I wouldn't want to risk it getting rusted on the races. I feel like this bearing needs a really good cleaning, but as it's on loan to me, I can't remove the shields. When I received it, my first two-handed table spin was 2 minutes and 20 seconds. My second two-handed table spin was 2 minutes and 50 seconds. Due to the aforementioned reasons, I wasn't able to clean it to do my usual fresh third two-handed table spin. You may be able to tell, but the spin is rather loud. When turning from horizontal to vertical, there's sometimes an unpleasant clicking sound that comes from the bearing. It doesn't sound like dirt is trapped inside, but it sounds like it wants to have play but can't achieve it. The metal has a sing to it, and while it is uniformly constant, it really doesn't do very much for me. When I first saw pictures of the Genex 1, I was really excited about it. Up until recently, the steel flame ring spin was the only ring spinner available, and unfortunately, it's significantly out of my price range. I wanted to love the Genex 1 so much, but I really feel like it fell flat. I have heard that Jiang has worked to reduce hot spots on newer pieces, and I would be curious to try an updated version. I think that I'd probably have a better opinion of the titanium version, as I just find the bronze too heavy and too cumbersome for me personally. They offer some amazing looking anodized titanium versions that, in my opinion, completely blow the bronze out of the water. They're worth taking a look at. I would classify this as a distraction fidget due to the sound and having to work to avoid hot spots. Again, this is the Genex 1 by Jiang. I'm Alana from FidgetHaven Reviews, and if you have any questions whatsoever, please don't hesitate to post them in the comment section below. I'm going to post a link to the Genex Facebook page where you can pre-order and take a look at all of the ones that they have to offer, and I'm also going to include a link to my written description. I really appreciate you watching this, and I hope that it was helpful for you. And I hope you have a great day. Thanks so much.